Another beautiful day. It is here on Classic FM, The Discourse. Welcome. I'm Sulaiman Lede. And of course, on The Discourse today, as always, we're still on that journey to Nigeria's election, which is this year. You know, sometimes it's really almost impossible for us not to still put the 2023 election in the year. It's wrong to also say 2023 election, so perhaps let's just say this year's election. It's a big election, as many have said. It could just be the biggest on the continent. One of the biggest we saw on the continent was the Kenya election last year, where William Ruto, against all odds, is today the president of that country. But again, let's first start by commiserating and, of course, joining in honoring all of those great fallen heroes as Nigeria remembers the fallen hero. Today marks the climax of the 2023 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration. And, of course, just before now, the President, Muhammadu Buhari, has already laid the wreath, in remembrance of fallen officers, men and women across the country, and even those who fought from the outside. The event actually honors the memory of Nigeria's fallen heroes. And I like to say, as they say, may the works, the labor of our heroes not go in vain. Well, that said, quickly we'll jump into today's conversation on The Discourse. You know, the election, on the same day that we'll be talking about the presidential election, we should be also be having the National Assembly election. Sometimes the presidential election is almost subsumed into, the National Assembly election is also subsumed or consumed by the presidential election. So we're getting back to it, and one of those will be the representatives who will be seeking election or re-election on the day. And today, I have someone who's been tested. Perhaps we'll also know if he's already tested. Who will be he's my guest today. And I'm talking about Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro, who's the member of House of Representatives for Etiosa Federal Constituency here in Lagos, and he's live with me in the studio. It's good to see you, and thanks for your time.
Good to see you, Mr. Alade.
And you know, if there's anything I honestly like about the prefix of your name, I've always said to people that I study names, and I know that Nigerians are big on names and titles. Everyone wants to be called honorable. Everyone wants to be excellencies in a nation or in a society where something is actually excellent. And I keep saying perhaps maybe people should say you are a councillor. I remember then when we were watching Village Headmaster, and one of the biggest character was Councillor Balogun, and I said that was the right way to address the man. He was a councillor, so if I'm councillor, I could be referred to as Councillor Alede, Councillor Sulaiman, Councillor Babajide. And I said, wait a minute. So sometimes they come on the show and I go representatives or senator, representative or senator. We don't have congressmen and women here, so ours is. And I said, it is only you, of all I've seen, who is constant and consistent with the prefix, Representative Babajide Obanikoro. I want to congratulate you on that, really. I must start on that.
Thank you.
Because it's time we started doing the right thing. Everybody honorable. Even someone in my motor pack is an honorable, so long as you are serving. But again, just trying to make us on a lighter note. Welcome to the show proper, and let's first of all start by asking questions. How is your constituents? How are they feeling? Because I see you've been going around, because twice we've tried to get to you, and twice you've been on the field speaking with them. So how is the conversation going?
It's been going fantastically well. I'm extremely happy that I've been well received since I've been doing my consultation. So that speaks volume to me, and I'm excited. You know, it's one thing to have a job, it's another thing to be excited about the job, and I'm extremely excited about what I'm doing.
You know, when you say consultation, let's dig in deep and perhaps also ask, give us a semblance of how the conversation is like. What do you do on a daily basis?
Now, because it's campaign time, and like I said, consultation. This is when I go back and tell them what I have done in the last 4 years, rather in the last 3 years and I think 6 months today.
Oh, it's like a report card.
Yeah, like a report card. And then they also tell me, especially in areas where we have not been able to touch, they'll tell us what their problems are. And that's why we call it consultation. And then we meet in the middle ground. As a legislator, what I can do, I'll tell them. And what I cannot do, I'll let them know. But I always put emphasis on the fact that they should know that I don't have a budget to execute any project. All I can do is facilitate, and that is what we do. And that is why you see that in every project that we bring to Etiosa, we say facilitated by Representative Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro.
And how much of understanding do they have there? Because there must be a kind of job of work for you and your team, sensitizing the people. Sometimes, one of the things we also trouble ourselves with as journalists is to try as much as possible to let the people know that everything and anything doesn't point to the president, doesn't point to the national government. There are some key things that should point to your state, to your local government, and perhaps some other things that you should also push towards your representatives so that they understand that they need to further, elevate that conversation at the National Assembly level. Do the people know the difference? Because sometimes, I'm sure, sometimes they bring what should be for the state executive to you.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know the difference. Well, I wouldn't say they don't know the difference, but the word, and that is why I always emphasize on the word representative. That is my duty. I am to represent you. I am your voice. I am your ears, and I am your eyes in the National Assembly. So, and ditto state and ditto local government. So when you bring your issues to me, what I do is ensure that I lift a finger. Let me start off with our elderly, the elder citizens. Some of them were not getting their pensions paid. They came to me, and I took it upon myself to ensure that they get their pensions paid. And with the help of people in Pitad and Pencom, some of them are getting paid today, and some will soon start getting paid. So some people understand that, okay, he is my rep, he can fight for me. And some areas that we have done roads, the same thing. I've been able to identify roads that, okay, these roads would help us relieve the Lekki Express of traffic. So some roads like that we have picked and run to different agencies and ministries to ensure that these roads are fixed. About 7 of them we have done in the last 3 years and 6 months that I have been in office. And also when we came into office in 2019, during the consultation for that election, we gathered that some of the schools in Constituency 1 do not have enough facility to take on more children. So you have a lot of kids running down from Etiosa Constituency 1 to Constituency 2 to get educated. So what we did immediately to bridge that gap was to provide a school bus that can take over 100 children sitting and standing from Aja to Osborne and back. That was to help us safeguard our children. Instead of them hopping from bus stop to bus stop and trying to get to school, they're in one bus that conveys them to school and back home safely. And then over time, we now started facilitating schools, giving schools more facility to take on more students. So we've done 4 of that in different schools. We have in Ajiro, we have in resettlement area, we have in Okwaja. So the goal is to reduce students traveling from constituency 1 to 2 to get educated. Those are the ways that I've been able to represent the people, aside of my duty, which a lot of them do not understand or doesn't necessarily bring immediate succor to their pains.
Yeah, I know that kind of indirect task, but I'll come back to your duties. Okay. And I'm loving this. I'm very big on the very seniors, and that is why I actually also started talking about our heroes today. It's good a thing that you mentioned pension, and it's a shame, really, how we have not been able to look after our very seniors. Aside pension, let's see if we can get some kind of example of what what you're doing for a Chosa Federal constituency, apart from what you've been able to get from PITAD and other, agencies, what other things have you been able to put or lobby for? Yeah, I think that should be the word now. Lobby for our seniors that live around your constituency.
One of the, like I said, the major one that I've lobbied for them is the, getting the, pensions paid. And we also have a program we do from my office, which is, we call it stomach infrastructure. It's at the end of the month, we look for people to say, okay, here, help your business. Here, pay the immediate expense that you've come to my office for. And we also try to look for elderly citizens to give this monies to either buy medicine, drugs, or feed, or help them one way or the other. And that's in my personal capacity. And then those are the ways that I've, come through for the elderly so far in the last 3.5 years. To move a bill or a motion.
I was going to ask about that because that would be very interesting, because what you're doing may not be sustainable, because what may ultimately outlive you, outlive your legacy, will be a bill that you ultimately, maybe you can lobby colleagues to see that they have some kind of social security for the very weak.
That's what I was going with. There's a bill for that is good, taking care of our elderly citizens. I can't remember. I think it was actually the speaker that sponsored the bill. I think it's going to go through his second reading, if not already through the second reading. That bill takes care of the elderly citizens, and that is done by the 9th Assembly under the leadership of Rep Member Femi Gbajabiamila.
So now I also want us to talk about health. And I know some of the... First, because I'm going to specifically mention a part of... Lagos, but give us a sense of of the areas that your constituency covers.
Well, my constituency is arguably one of the largest across Nigeria. We span from McGregor Canal here in Obalende, borderline Lagos Island and Etiosa, all the way to Majek. And Majek is after Shongotedu. That's now... Let me now just breeze through some of the villages you would go through, so you have an idea of...
so there are villages?
Yes. You start from Obalende, you move on to VI, Onyuru, Ikoyi, you go on to Lekki Phase 1, you get on to Mawa, you have Itedo, you have Ikati, you cross to the other side, you have Ilason, you have Iroquois. From there you get to... from Iroquois, where you're touching on to Igboefon, you cross to the other side of the express, you're looking at Femi, Okunu, you have Osapa London, you have Agungi, you have Ajiron, then you have Chevron Estate, and I cross to the other side from Igboefon, you get to Ikota. From Ikota, you drive down the Orchard Road, that takes you straight into Lafiaji. Then you get into the resettlement areas from there, where you have Okunaja, Okumokpo, Okwafa.
Is Dolphin part of it?
Yes, Dolphin Estate is part of...
But did you know this much about the constituency before you came into politics?
Yes, I did. I'm a Lagosian.
The last time, I like that, I'm a Lagosian. The last time I heard someone, it was when we had that debate, it was a governorship debate of Babatunde Fashola, and he had a firm grasp of, how they say Koro, Lungu, the shanties, and everywhere in Lagos. So I'm always excited when I hear politicians. What I'm asking? I wanted to say, yes, I had my COVID, vaccine around Dolphin, and I was excited about the medical, center there. So, but speak to us about health. When you meet these people, especially in those other areas you've just talked about, how much of access to health do they have? I'm talking about your constituents. because if they're not getting it, they should come to you and tell you and say, Rep Babajide Obanikoro, we're not getting it.
Yes. Let me a big thank you to the state government. They've done, at least at the top of my head, 2 clinics to give us immediate first aid for if you need it. And one of them is in Ekate here. And then the second one is in along Ogobo Road in Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro, and that's the mother and child maternity center and then that same premises we're going to have a general hospital spring up. I believe that the governor said all the groundbreaking will be done this year, and then hopefully by next year would have, if not a full functioning general hospital, at least you have a semblance of it there. So there are plans for us in Etiosa to have general hospital in that side of town, Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro side. So and there are also a lot of private clinics. Even I myself, as a person, I facilitated 2 different clinics. One of them is fully equipped. The other one is still ongoing, and they are both in Lafayette area of Etiosa. So, in fact, I facilitated the fully equipped one through SDG. So it's there. The equipments are there. Very standard, but we are still in between handing over to the local government so we can start serving the community. I facilitated that through the SDG, and the other one was through the capital projects funds that was assigned. As a matter of fact, the other one is the continuity. My predecessor had put it in the budget. I made sure that it saw the day of light. So, because government to me is continuum, you have to continue it. So that's why that sprung up there in that side of town. So on health, we're trying our best. Also, again, we also help people out. And a lot of people come run to us to get help, and we know that I can't, as a legislator, if I should go through the legislative route, it will take forever and ever. At 360 members in the House, and you can't snap your finger and get anything done. It takes a while. So usually what we do is, you have to come in through your personal CSR, and then you help people a lot with bills in hospital bills. That we do on a regular basis.
Well, we'll also take questions from people, especially those who live around your constituency, and I'm hoping that they get us on WhatsApp by sending questions to 090921729730, 090921729730. And if you're listening from outside Nigeria, don't forget to put the telephone area code +234. And one other point which is very important here has to do with the environment. For representatives, for lawmakers, there are some key concerns. We're very careful so that we don't start bringing issues that borders around the border around the executive arm. I'll come back to that quickly, but let's quickly take this from Paul. Paul is listening from Ajawa Estate in Lagos. And he says, hello, can you ask Babajide Obanikoro to say specifically what they get for constituents projects? Do constituents projects differ by the virtue of size of the constituency? I guess that's what you meant to write there. And if there's any accountability for any money allocated or any project, and there's a three-part question. Well, since it's short, I'll take it. And if you can also ask him what will be lacking if representatives focus only on lawmaking, which is their major primary assignments. That's from Paul. I don't know if you got those three questions.
Well, let me quickly, on hospital, on health. One of the motions that I moved actually was on health, to address how patients are being treated by hospitals, nurses and doctors. We need to, when people come to you, that means they need help. and the manner at which I get treated to in Nigeria is not it's not professional at all. I moved the motion on that, and that was as a result of a particular case that came up with lawsuit. So, and I believe that is being looked into, because I actually followed it to the Committee on Health. Now, going to the question that was asked, it's you don't get constituency funds or allowance. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as constituency allowance. What you get is a zonal intervention, and zonal intervention is divided according to the number of members you have. In like Lagos State, we have 24. Kano also has 24. Every other state has less than that, but we are all sharing the same figure. So you see in a place where my zonal intervention is less than 50 million, and that of a rep from Ondo is about 100 and something million. So he gets to have more funds to do more projects than I do have. So it's not by size of what you represent, it's by the numbers that you guys bring to the National Assembly, and we are at cap 24. So the zonal intervention I get is less than 50 million. And if we are to stick strictly to our core duties as lawmakers, a lot of people are there will be more anger in the land and more hunger in the land. Because if you go across Nigeria, rep members are contributing a lot to their environment. We sink boreholes, we do roads, we facilitate schools, we facilitate hospitals, you name it. We're more or less giving we give the executive arm of government every support that they need. So if you should tell us to stick to our core mandate, there will be a lot of hunger and anger in the land.
I'll come back to that, but before I go further, let me quickly ask the young lady who was extrajudicially killed, Bolanle Rahim. Is she a member of your constituent?
Yes, she is a member of my constituent.
Constituency, I meant to say. So she was a constituent, and let me ask now. Are there things you're picking up on behalf of herself and her family to ensure that she gets justice?
Yes, I have moved a motion on the floor of the House with regards to that, and investigation the House is going to be part of the investigation, so be rest assured that justice will be served. And that's
the whole essence of representative democracy.
I've had meetings with regards to this with the chairman of the local government. I've had meetings with regards to it with the governor of the state and the speaker of the federation. So I know for a fact that we're not going to close. We're not going to give a blind eye to that particular situation. And I was a big advocate of rubber bullets earlier in this administration with the IG, the prior IG before now. I was always discussing rubber bullets with him. He has his defense to why they are not using rubber bullets and why they are looking into it. So and it's still something I'm big on. That it's not every battle you go to.
I think Obanikoro, you should pursue that because it makes no sense for every policeman to think that he or she must be armed. You're a widely traveled man. We've seen how security is better managed in other parts of the world without even being armed. Mm-hmm. The UK, backyard here, it's a big example. I'm happy that you're pursuing this because people have also sent us messages that their representatives don't care about them. I don't need to ask because I think, for the purpose of those who do not know, you live in your constituency.
Yes, I do.
Because it's a shame that some of your colleagues don't live in their constituencies, even here in Lagos, and it's a shame. And how well will you be able to help people in your constituency when they have problems, as the family of Bolanle Rahim? So we hope to get more information from you to see how you're pursuing this, because everyone is saying it must not be swept under the carpet.
No,
you're also saying that
we're just when investigations are ongoing, you tend to be mute about it, so you don't mislead or give false information or what have you and what have you not. And it's not only Banale Rahim's case we are pursuing. There's also a young man that was killed 2-3 weeks before that.
Yes.
That I can't remember his name now. That we're also pursuing. And there was also another gentleman that was run down by a vehicle right very close to my house on Alexander there. We're also, I still met the DPO just last week, wanting more information on that matter. So I care for my people, because that's why you see that I boldly call myself your neighbor, because I know that I live amongst you. I know that you have access to me. During the NSAS mishap, where a lot of businesses were burnt down, shops were raided, I took my time to call victims on a one-on-one basis on my phone. Some that I could not reach on the phone, I sent them text messages. There's nothing I can do about your damage, but I feel your pain, and I pray that God will give you what it takes to move on from this minor setback. So those are little ways that I can go to show my constituents that I do care for them.
So in all of what you've done so far, you're seeking re-election, and some will be asking, okay, why should we re-elect Representative Babajide Obanikoro?
There's so many reasons why I should be re-elected. During my last consultation in 2019, the barracks are in a bad shape. Up till now, they still are. One of the first motions I moved was the rehabilitation of barracks, because it also has more barracks than any other constituency across Nigeria. If you fly into Muritala Airport and every other airport in Nigeria, you will see abandoned planes. Have moved the motion that those planes should be moved. Does not speak well as a nation. It gives a wrong signal to whoever is flying to Nigeria first. And all you're seeing is abandoned aircraft as far back as Nigerian Airways. So they've started moving them, but they have hiccups here and there because there are litigations on some of the crafts. So another motion that we moved, we have ocean surge issues, whereby, you wake up in the morning and the ocean is what you're stepping into. We've moved motion that should be looked into, and I'm very much working hand in hand with the chairman on ecological funds to see how we can come and help Nigerians, Ethiopians address that issue. Motion on the need to have a COVID-19 testing across Nigeria, because COVID came to Nigeria and affected us as a administration for a good 6 to 12 months. We could not operate, but alhamdulillah, we're still able to do so many things. We give out grants to petty traders to increase their capital. We give out students, we help them prepare for next class over the summer. Our parents, artisans, we help them as well, train them, give them materials to work with. We gave out about 1,000 laptops across board in Ethiopia, just so that people can manage files better. We gave police stations as well, and we gave them so that they can have files. I can come to you 10-15 years from now, you have my file on your cloud.
Well, I doubt that. Do you do follow-ups? Because
yes, I do.
Because it's very important. We're not good when it comes to record keeping.
That's why we gave that, so that they can start keeping records, and we're going to follow up. The same thing, ditto students, ditto resident associations. I gave resident associations laptops so that they can manage their association estates better. So, and we, like I said, free school bus in Ethiopia. We've done facilitated 7 good roads, with the 8th one about to commence on in Irokwa, where we have lit Ethiopia roads, over 300 stroller street lights across Ethiopia. Till date, like I said, we facilitated.
And the people around Lekki Aja axis, they're not too excited about traffic build-up, and it's one thing that they will love their representative to also take up.
The first solution to traffic is mannerisms behind the wheels. Nigerians, as a people, we need to, as a matter of urgency, reorientate ourselves. Our driving habit is bad. We just want to go. We don't care about the red lights. We don't care about the stop signs. We just want to drive. We face one way just to, go. So we need to address that amongst ourselves. It will save us a lot of time on the road. The roads are not the best, but the state government is trying, especially Lekki Expressway, in bringing some sort of rehabilitation to the road. And they started from Ekpe. Now they are approaching Aoyaya. I'm sure very soon they will get to Etiosa, and the bridge in Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro too, definitely they say they're going to complete it this year. Some of the coastal roads are also in 2023's budget that the state government is going to embark on. And that's why we also facilitated all these roads to ease traffic on Lekki Ekpe. If you are within your community and you don't have to get to Lekki Ekpe, we've made some roads available for you, especially in Osapa, London. We did 3 because Osapa, London at the time happened to be the fastest growing area, even in Etiosa. So we did 3 so that you don't have to get to on the express road if you have to be within your community. These are some of the reasons why I believe I should be re-elected. My constituency office is running here in 26 Sumbo Ojibo. Our website is there, ibo.org.ng. I'm on Twitter at Jide Koro. I'm on Instagram at Rep Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro. I'm always available to my constituents at any given time.
Now, and one other sore point has to do with you spoke about those children having school buses, but my concern has always been the menace creeping up on us here in Lagos, specifically around your constituency, and it has to do with children who are not in school, who come around you when you live in a shop or an eatery. Or by the traffic light, begging for alms. Are you having any conversation with the executive arm of government to seeing that these ones, irrespective of where they're from, are given a future? Because I see that your motto is tomorrow is now.
Yes. Now, I understand that as we speak, the state government is coming up with a facility for them I can't remember the exact place now, but it's in the East Senatorial District. The long-term goal is to move some of these children and take them to that facility so that that will be their place of abode, and the goal is to reduce them on the roads. What you also have to understand is that it's a bit tough because these children, there are people that control these children. There are people that tells them what to do. So they give them signal, or if once they see the vehicle, the MOE vehicle, they get signal, before you know it, they are gone. And then
there's a puppet master somewhere.
There's a puppet master somewhere. Thank you. That tells them, what to do, where to do, how to do it, and what have you not. So to get the puppet master is not a walk in the park. So, but I know the state government has a facility coming up somewhere in senatorial district, and the goal is to evacuate or pick these kids from the road and take them there, let them have a life for themselves. And very, very soon, I'm sure they're going to get onto that, because we've been on this for almost 2-3 years now.
I love it when people talk about building the future, and that's just one, a drop. And another has to do with people of my age and even far younger than myself who do not have means of livelihood, who as some investigative journalists have uncovered, are being used by politicians and some troublemakers to, cause trouble. We're talking about those, you call them area boys, call them whatever name, but these people deserve to have their future, protected, and also have their lives protected. If you start with an average area boy, they want a better future. They're not excited about the kind of life they're living. Have you tried as much to go into the hinterlands of your constituency to discuss with these people and find out what truly you can do for them?
Some of them we've helped. We've given them vehicles to join the Uber and Taxify train. Some of them we've helped by giving them POS machines to start up, the POS business. Some of them we've helped to get trained and get started with this e-business where they register you online for, they help some people do their online registration for JAM, GCE. If some go as far as helping you register for visa application and whatever.
That means some of them are actually schooled.
Some of them are learned. So they are, you pick one or two of them like that to help. So some actually want to do, want to be artisans, So it depends on the ones that are willing. While some are just not bothered. They are fine, where they are. So it depends on what they want to do. I've been able to help some of them personally, So as a government, initially the purpose was to help them get off the streets, There's a lot of money in transportation. Get into transportation and, make a living out of it. That is, what the purpose of some of these guys you're talking about are. And some of them have also moved into the neighborhood watch by the state government. Some of them have also been moved into those that do street cleaning, Loma.
Yeah.
So the state is trying its best in absorbing this area boys that you're referring to, but there are many of them that can only do it, one at a time and not all at once. So that's the situation we find ourselves.
Are some of them willingly, bringing themselves up, to be so trained, hired, and rehabilitated?
Yeah, some of them do, especially in the Greek area as well. You find, because the Lagos State also has a scheme where you put a whole bunch of people together to manage a part of a farmland where whatever the proceed is, they share it amongst themselves. There's one in Ekwe, there's another in Ikorodu. Some of these guys are also involved in that. And some of them also are the ones into dispatch riding, because I know I've given some of them, I've contributed to some of them owning dispatch bikes. So, little ways like that we help them in our own little capacity.
And this one here is saying, and it's almost linked to that. There's no name on this. I usually like it when you put a name on your message, but again, I'll just oblige you with this. It says, "Hello, Sulaiman. Could you please ask Obanikoro what exactly he's doing to DAC Sports in Lagos State?" I think he's talking about something. You see,
we have lit up a lot of streets in Etiosa. I've given nothing less. I've facilitated nothing less than 300 solar street lights in Etiosa. I've given private estates solar street lights in Etiosa. We've given private, the local government roads. We have put solar street lights there, and I can name all the streets. If you go to Ado Street in Shola Omole Street in Ado, so many other streets like that. The records are there. We've gone as far as giving them a transformer. We facilitated a 300 kVA transformer for them in Falomo area, just so that.
But I thought the Discourse, they say you're not, that they will provide transformers. Nobody's supposed to provide transformers.
Well, the Discourse themselves will tell you they need help. They can't afford to give all the transformers that are needed. So I have plans to do 4. I've been able to do just 1, and hopefully my people are going to re-elect me, and will continue with the other 3 to ensure they get it.
Now let's talk about, I've been working, closely following developments with the NDLEA, and we've also had on the Discourse here the NDLEA, and some psychologists and experts looking at the drug problem that Nigeria is at the moment, which is very disturbing. And recently, in the news, not a good one, your constituency, has always popped up as a place where the NDLEA is either chasing someone or making an arrest, sealing up buildings and facilities. And all through last week, they were right there. There was a big-time operation in Lekki, Phase 1. I know this should also worry a representative, from there, who is you. Are there plans to, work with the agency or any other agency of government to ensure that the once upon, a time drug-free life of that area is brought back?
Well, Etiosa is the fastest growing orb across Nigeria and Southwest Africa, if you ask me. And it's fast. You can't help it. Everybody is trooping into Etiosa because it's viable. It's where you want. It's a happening place where you want to be. So you can't help. You can't help when all these things are being dragged along to Etiosa. So we just have to, as a people, be vigilant, watch what our neighbors are doing, and keep an eye on our children to make sure that they are staying drug-free. And NDLEA are trying. I read on the news every day when they seal one, facility for drugs or the other, when they stop one or two people at the airport, when they stop vehicles at the borderline, just trying to make sure that we don't have all these illicit drugs on our streets. So, well, as your representative, all I can do is just continue preaching to my people to, because the laws are already there saying no to drugs, the repercussions, the penalties and punishments for using drugs. So it's just left for the executive arm of government and the law enforcement agencies to clamp down more on the use of these things, and which they are doing. So
you're talking about of enforcement. Time was Ikoyi, specifically Lekki 1, was purely a residential area.
Yes.
And today, God save you, because we've seen a lot of people live in Lekki because sometimes before you can get out of your house, it's either someone is blocking your gate or there's a loud noise in the neighborhood because there's some kind of clubbing activity or the other. Are they concerned, constituents who think that we have a weak law, a law that is not being, effected to the extent that they need your help to see that it comes back to where it was once?
Well, I as a representative of the area, I have not gotten any complaint letter in my office with regards noise pollution or traffic disturbing, people being hindered from leaving their homes. The only area that I know that I went to, I had a meeting with them during their month-end Russian Association, was Budo Estate in Etiosa East. And their complaint was that there's a motor park that just came up where people load to travel long distance, and that they don't want it there. That's the only complaint that I have gotten. But I've not gone, I was still in Lekki last week. We had a meeting with the Resident Association. I did not get any complaint about any club disturbing any, because if you look at it, the areas, the commercialized areas in Lekki is mainly Admiralty Way, and every other area is still a bit very much residential. So the noise is and it's like that everywhere you go. Even here in Ikoyi, the commercial part of Ikoyi mainly is Awolowo Road. So it's and in VI the commercial area is mainly Akiadeshola and Odeola, Odeku. Not that there are no commercial areas in other places, but those are the main ones that you want to talk about, that you're going to, and Sakatunumbu, all that area. So I've not necessarily gotten any complaints apart from Budo Estate that told me they don't want that park in their area. And I discussed it with Ministry of Environment to see how we can work it out whereby they don't disturb each other. So I believe, and I'm still waiting till maybe tomorrow or maybe today, or this will prompt somebody to complain about any noise in Lekki Phase 1. But I believe that their commercial areas and their residential areas are a bit far from, not far, but at least, distance enough to not disturb each other.
Ali from Ajegunle says, hello, Babajide Obanikoro, and is there a platform created by the National Assembly where we can reach out to each member representing different constituency? To me, he goes on to say, it seems as though we are only hearing from the, in quote, the popular ones. There are a lot of issues plaguing other areas like Ajeromi and their neighbors, which the people don't know how to hold their representatives responsible, maybe because they don't reside there. That's from Ali.
Well, I honestly don't. For Ajeromi Felodu, the current is KT is representing Ajeromi Felodu as we speak now. And it's a grassroots. He's been in the assembly, in the state assembly before coming to National Assembly. So I would encourage that, ask around or Google him to find out where his constituency office.
Don't just stand in for anyone.
I'm not standing in for him. That's why I said I would say ask around.
No, we will not ask.
Or
on this show. See, let me tell you about this show. On this show, I don't do hard hitting. Sorry to cut you.
As accessible as I believe I am. So people still say they don't have access to me.
I don't do hard hitting interview. I like. Journalism, a lot of people don't understand that journalism is about asking so that people can get to know and where you think that you need to push back. You need to push back. For those listening to you and I will know that this more or less looks like a friendly interview because first, you're not the executive arm. Two, you've been able to show what you've done. And I just said that I did my COVID test and I've also, I live in 2 parts of Lagos. I'm just blessed to, I work in Lagos, so when I'm working...
One of the big boss.
When I'm working, I suffer. I'm telling you, because when I'm working, I'm on the island part of Lagos. When I'm not working, I go back to my area. You want to call us the trench town people, yes, we're fine. But what this man is saying, we do not know our representatives. We do not even know our senators. I dare speak for the people. And I'm saying, as I sit here, I have also reached out. If me, a journalist... of almost 3 decades, can say I can't reach some of these people here in Lagos, then who else can? So we're saying that you're reachable. And I said, when we started the show, I said to my listeners, I said, we've been trying to reach you. You've been working, and you said once you're less busy, you'll come. And here you are today. It's not the same. And we've had conversations with Mayor, the chairman of Ketu. He's been here. And you would think that that's the only chairman in the whole of Lagos. We have chairmen in Lagos. They all run in the, under the cloak of the governor and others who are party leaders. These people would not want to speak to the people. So I say, let's not speak on behalf of these people.
No. Like I said,
it is your call. It is your day today. Because saying that you should Google this man who perhaps does not even live in his constituency.
You know what? On a daily basis, on my handles, I have people asking me, what have you done? We can't see you. We are nowhere to be found.
It's not that loud compared to what we have seen in other parts. It's not.
So I'm having to always educate, inform people on my handle every day. I tell my guys, take your time, reply this person that is asking this, show them what we have done, what we're about to do, and where we're going.
Free Media Council, and I'm sure they're listening. Don't fight for them anymore. Really, these people are not, some of them are actually not representing the people. And it's painful to see that sometimes, whether on Twitter, whether on their direct handle, I've had conversations with governors in this state. And the other time I said it live here, I said it was during COVID, the lockdown, that Babajide Sanwo-Olu fixed the Barua-Ipaja road. He didn't pay me to say that. And I said, thank you for doing that. Because he cashed in on the lockdown to fix that road. But people have abandoned a lot of people in those areas. So don't go there, leave them. So let's come back to you.
Okay.
Let me see if we have more questions here for you. Because these people think a day will come, and people have started taking notes of these people. And every now and then, they always latch on to people like yourself who will go out there on the media and they think that you speak for them. We will not let you speak for anyone. It's your call today. And this is from Yemi. Yemi is saying, apologies, I hope I don't sound too...
You're fine.
I just want you to know that...
No, I just also know that, seeing as we're colleagues, I see how they also go out of their way. The pressure is much.
No, how do they say
the pressure is much.
How do they say it in Pidgin? Leave those people, Jare.
Leave them, Abi.
Someone, Yemi is saying, okay, Yemi is asking questions so that at least you can put some timelines to this. He said, why do politicians only get work done when election is approaching? Babajide Obanikoro has said a lot. And he says, and you have said nothing. He said the laptops given, were they done? Were they done as dash? Like a gift?
Yeah, they were gifts. I gave them out early last year as means of empowerment to students, means of empowerment to resident associations.
Maybe you want to know when last year whether it was close to election.
What I do is we every January we do a town hall meeting / empowerment. So that's also what we did last year. The previous year before, we targeted traders who needed money. We gave them money to expand their business. The year before that, it was artisans that we trained, and we gave them tools to go and carry on with their business. A caterer, we gave them, catering utensils. Fashion designers, we gave them tailoring machines, etc. That was the year. That was 2 years ago. And so it's every year, every January. This year, we're going to do this year as well. Maybe at the end of the month, we'll do another empowerment program where we'll give people, we are collating our data now. We'll give people what we believe they need to go and carry on with their lives. It's all about trying to bring succor to our constituents, and that's what we've been doing since 2019 that we came into office. And we're not just acting now because election is around the corner. No. First of all, we cannot do everything all at once. We have to do it one after the other. And like I said, we have done 8 roads since 2019 till date. The 8 roads were not done last year. They were not done 6 months ago. We've been doing them every year since then.
Now you're talking, I'm smiling. Let me bring this question before now. And he said, hello, Slyman. Representative Babajide Obanikoro talk very soundly. When are you bringing the representative of Ikpaja, Alimosho area? I would like to listen to what he has done. God bless you. This is from Achi.
I don't know what he has done.
Achi, well, let's hope that your rep will be here. The truth is, these...
His name is Adefemi Adibanjo.
And what if I say...
Olufemi Adibanjo.
What if I say...
Olufemi Adibanjo.
What if I told you that a lot of people don't even know them by names? It will amaze you. Okay, now, that's my area now. He's shocked. So that's my area. So people don't even know him. So now let's come.
He's a second timer.
It doesn't matter. As many times that they come, people still don't feel them. This one here is from Kazim, and Kazim is from Ogudu. Listen to us in Ojota, Lagos, and he says, "Hello, Sulaiman and Representative Obanikoro. Can there be a law that would encourage capable and willing individual or residents to develop their area themselves? Because our government would rather ask you to bring the money for them to do it, knowing full well that is their initial responsibility, which is not encouraging individual residents."
No. There is no law, stopping resident associations from developing their community. There is no such law. You want to develop, or as long as you are in line with the rules and regulation of Ministry of Environment and what's this ministry I'm looking for now? Town planning and urban planning ministry. As long as you are in line with their rules and regulation, you're fine. Okay. In some places they talk about PPP. You do it, or we come together and do it. Whereby I know, like for example, Orchid Road, the governor has a template already. There's a design for that road already. So now I think it's going to cost about 1 billion or thereabout. I can't remember the figures anymore. So the governor is telling we constituents to bring a certain amount to start off, and then he will finish off with his own with his own funding. But the we constituents are saying no, start it off, and then we'll join you halfway somewhere along the line. So that's where we are on Ochido. So that's the kind of.
I understand that question because I've been into corporate communications, and I understand sometimes you want to do some CSR for some people, and the local government or those people say, "Bring the money, don't do it, bring it to us." Because someone said to me that sometimes there was a budget for instance, I'm not giving the exact picture, but for instance, you wanted to build 2 blocks of classroom that would cost, for instance, 10 million naira. And the council will say, let's have the money. And you say, okay, bring the budget. The council will bring a budget of, for instance, maybe 150 million. And the company is saying that we can fix this 2 classrooms with this less amount. So I'm sure that's what they're asking.
Maybe I'm sure, but I have not come across.
No, I've had that experience in corporate communications.
I know. I've not come across
this one
that,
here
but
is a question, and he's saying that hello. Sorry, because we're rounding off. He says, "I'm following your conversation with Babajide Obanikoro, and it's impressive for me. How can I reach my own representative? Does he or she live in Ejigbo like you do in Etiosa? Can I have his or her contacts?" From Ali in Ejigbo.
Well, like I said, it's sometimes we have to try and go out of our way to also reach our representatives. It's for a rep member to reach out to every constituent is a bit difficult, but you can help us by reaching out to us, and then the rest. Like I always tell my constituents, if you call me I don't pick, send me a text message. If by adventure I miss your call, your text message will be logged.
Your office again, because we're running off.
My office is 26 Sumbo Jibo,
and there's always you have a team there.
Yes, I have a team there, always ready to receive your letter, sign, give you an acknowledgement copy. The website is ibo.org.ng. Our Twitter is @JideKoro. Our Instagram is @Rep Ibrahim Obanikoro. Facebook is Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro. So all that we have done in the last 3 years, let me say in the last 2 years, because if I put in COVID, reduces the amount of years we've had to operate with. All we have done are on this website. They are there for the records, and you can, go around and verify. All I have done is represent my people, speak for them, see for them, breathe for them, and hear for them since I've been in office. And that is why I'm seeking for a second term, so that I can finish some of the things that I have started. For example, see through the motion that I moved on Ocean Surge, see through the motion that I moved on Barrack Innovation, see through the motion that I moved on how patients are being treated in hospitals. And there are some bills that I also presented to the floor of the House. These bills have to do with how indiscipline in Nigeria, dealing with indiscipline in Nigeria. And you agree with me, a lot of Nigerians will lack discipline. So instead of getting a slap on the wrist, the punishment should be a bit more severe. These are the bills that I have moved that I would like to see them become. Become an act that would govern Nigeria as a country. So I look forward to representing my people. It's your neighbor, Ibrahim Babajide Obanikoro.
I'll look forward to having you again before election day, so that we can actually talk more about some of those questions we haven't been able to address today.
I'll be glad to come back.
Many thanks for being our guest today on The Discourse.
Thank you for having me.
Obanikoro.
Thank you.
That's it on The Discourse. I'm Sulaiman Lede. Many thanks for listening.
And that's it on The Discourse.